Should the Cowboys have pursued Julio? And now, how much do you believe that Julio will help the Eagles?
Well, it is definitely a double-barrel question,
Yep.
but I'll deal with it. I think, one, the Cowboys just start there. They certainly should have kicked the tires on that and taken a look at Julio Jones because they need a big red zone target.
Yep.
Yes, they have CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has scored touchdown. Yes, they utilize him and they get the football in many different ways.
Yep.
But they don't have a 6'4", 6'5", 225-plus pound
Yep.
guy who can pick them up and put them down, particularly in the fringe area, which is from the 30 to the 20 and the red from the 20 to the end zone. They certainly need that. They don't have a tight end. There is no Kelsey. There is no Kittle. There is no Jason Witten walking through that door anytime soon.
No.
Ferguson is okay.
He's just okay. I'll buy that.
He's not there yet.
Yeah.
So if
And
you look at
obviously
that,
they lost Dalton Schultz. So
they lost Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
If you look at that, you have to say, okay, he gives them that presence. Now you move things forward and you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles within your division and your conference.
Yeah.
This is a typical textbook front office thing. What do we need, but do we really need it? Yeah, we can utilize it. Some guy got hurt. Okay, let's look at the board. Who do we have? We have A, B, C. Oh, here's our D guy. Let's work him out. Let's see what he is. Let's put in the film. Let's study him. Oh, it's Julio Jones. Let's sign him. Let's bring him in. Let's talk to him. Let's talk to A.J. Brown about him. Now what we do is addition by subtraction.
Yep.
We're going to take him away from a team that we may think has a sniffer around. So let's sign him because we can utilize him. And now all of a sudden, you think about three-headed monster wide receiving cores. And I'm only going to go back as far as I can remember. When you talk about the Minnesota Vikings, you talk about Jake Reed, Chris Carter, and Randy Moss. Now, I'm not putting this trio in that conversation. What I'm saying is when you got two dogs on the outside, okay, in Chris Carter as a slot guy, Randy Moss on the outside, and Jake Reed, you can play with that many different ways.
And Randall Cunningham did.
Randall Cunningham did, and so did Dante Culpepper.
Yep.
So when you look at that, he is a willing participant in the blocking game.
Yeah.
He is not afraid to stick his nose in there and dig people out. A.J. Brown obviously is not afraid. But now what you have is you have an explosive guy in Devontae Smith. You can play with all sorts of ways. You can move A.J. Brown inside, Julio Jones outside him, backside Devontae Smith. You can move Devontae Smith inside, Julio on the outside. So it makes things harder.
Yeah.
When you have three receivers in the National Football League, you better have three dominant corners that can defend. When you decide to go in man-to-man situations, you better have three corners. What is it that the Dallas Cowboys are lacking right now? Three solidified corners that can shut people down across the board. They got two guys that are playing pretty good in Gilmore and Bland. There's no question about it. But you need three. And they got to be consistent all over.
Has been pretty good for a
They got to be consistent all over the board. And I'm only talking about the Cowboys because you here. There's other teams within the conference. And he will help them. He'll help them in the classroom and on the board. He'll help them on the football field. And then you say, well, he's talking about he wants to be the dominant guy again. Don't get it twisted. Well, yeah, because if I get Skip Bayless out there covering me, I'm getting ready to do something real dirty to him. And that's what he's saying.
I don't know if I were there. That might change life.
Oh, Skip, stop. I'm just using you.
I still have juice in my legs. I got juice. I can come out of my cuts.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you can. But it is one of those situations where he knows I'm going to most likely get the third guy. Most likely I'm going to draw that third dude. That third guy at 34 years old, it still isn't comparable to me. And that's what he's saying.
Okay, I hear what you just said, and I got nothing but respect for Howie Roseman because it seems like, certainly of late, everything he touches turns to Philadelphia gold because they were in the Super Bowl, and they came within just a couple of plays. If Jalen had lost the handle on that ball that got returned for a touchdown, they might have beaten Patrick Mahomes and company. So I give it up to that. But maybe this is me trying to speak this out of existence.
Okay.
I believe you and they are living in the past. I think you're still clinging to what Julio used to be because for 10 years in Atlanta, that's a long time, he was the guy. He was the best. He was dominating in those days. And I think even Julio in his heart of hearts knows he's probably not that guy, but he's going to say the right thing, which is I came here to dominate, because he's still a proud man. But this is his 4th team in 4 years. Okay. So clearly, I don't condemn him for this. He wants a ring. And he thought he could go get one with Tom Brady last year because Tom Brady recruited him. I know for a fact he went out of his way to all but beg Julio, come down here, be my guy, and we'll go win another ring. Because Tom had already won one in Tampa and came pretty close to winning a second one. He got beaten by the Rams on the last play of the game, and they went on to win the Super Bowl, obviously, in Tom's second year. So last year, ironically, they started and finished with the Dallas Cowboys because on opening Sunday night, they were at Dallas. Julio caught one big ball in that game right up the right sideline in front of the Cowboys, and that was it. And it was a low-scoring game, and they did hang on to win the game. Dak he busted his thumb and was gone. The point is, Julio, late in that game, pulled up lame because he is tightly wound, as he always has been, and he had some kind of hamstring issue really the whole year. He wound up playing in 11 games. He wound up starting 5, and maybe it's the hamstring. If it's all on the hamstring, you got me on this. But he didn't look like Julio Jones the whole year. And trust me, I was rooting like crazy for him because I root for Brady. So it comes full circle to the Dallas Cowboys in their first playoff game last year, Tampa's first playoff game, at home. And what happened? Tom tried to come through on his vow, his promise to Julio, I'm going to make you the guy, and we're going to go win this thing. And what happens against the Dallas Cowboys? He threw him, it was his season high, 11 targets. It was a team high, 11 targets. That's a lot of footballs to throw to Julio Jones at then age 33. He caught 7 for 74. Those are by far his best numbers of the whole year. But what happened? When he finally caught his touchdown pass, which was late in the third quarter, a 30-yard touchdown pass from Tom Brady, they were down 24-0. So that made it 24-6. They went for 2 and missed. Then they're down 31-6, and they get basically blown out because Dak had one of those big, bad, great Dak games. So my point to you is, in the fourth quarter of a blowout, Tom threw him 7 balls, okay? And he caught 4 for 29. So the bulk of the targets came when it was just garbage time. So I never saw Julio last year. And if you can chalk it up to the hamstring, you're correct. Philly is correct. I'm just not sure if he'll ever quite be that guy to have impact.
But he's not trying to be that guy, Skip. You say, I'm living in the past, and maybe Philly's living in the past.
Yeah.
No, you're living in the past by simply thinking about what he's done in the past. I'm not thinking about what he's done in the past. I clearly understand he's the number 3 wide receiver. He clearly understands he's the number 3 wide receiver.
So
if I get a duck, which is considered a bad corner, I'm going to abuse him.
Okay. Is he capable of abusing a bad corner?
Oh, my God, yes.
Well, I didn't see it last year. I got to tell you, I watched closely.
Just because you didn't see certain things that you saw in Atlanta doesn't mean that he is not refreshed. Doesn't mean that you're only asking him to play 25 snaps a game.
Yeah.
You're not asking him to start and play like they did in Tampa.
Yeah.
This is a totally different situation. Circumstances and situations go a long ways in this sort of deal with him.
Okay, let's get another opinion involved here. Let's go to number 88, to the playmaker. Good morning to Michael Irvin. How are you, sir?
He's still recovering.
What's up, guys?
He's still recovering from Sunday.
No, I'm fine.
I mean, Monday.
No, I'm not recovering from Sunday. From that, from all of those messages I was sending, Key, I was talking right to you in my social media because that was such an incredible game. But let's address this situation and why. I say, I love what Philly does when they go out and do something like this and how it rolls. You got to give them credit for always trying to push that needle and tell everybody we're going for it right now. That's what bringing in Julio Jones says. You know, Devontae Smith, he has a little bit of a hamstring. Skip, I heard you guys talk about this, about what he is and what he used to be. We know he's not quite the player that he used to be. But defenses don't know when he's going to be that player that he used to be, so they have to cover him all the time anyway. And they also set the defense up according to what they've seen him do before. So automatically, he's in the defensive meeting rooms right now. What I also love is A.J. Brown has already spoke on his love for Julio Jones.
Yep.
So it's not messing up the pecking order of that room. And Julio saying he's coming in to dominate, that's exactly what he's supposed to say. Jimmy used to do this, Skip. You remember? Yeah. Jimmy would always bring somebody in to keep everybody on their toes. I don't care who you, don't nobody get comfortable because everybody needs to be on their toes in this building. And Philly, I like that Philly does that. I wish the Cowboys would do more of that, to tell you the truth. Right now, pitch all in and said, we're going all in. San Francisco's picked up Randy Gregory. Now you got Philly picking up Julio Jones, and the Cowboys, they standing pat. You got to move when you get an opportunity, like those other contenders are doing.
Although, Michael, real quick, all the reports say out of Dallas that the Cowboys will be active at the upcoming trade deadline.
They should have been active before this even happened.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, maybe they'll shock you. Maybe they'll go get another Stephon Gilmore, another Brandon Cooks.
Well, they don't need Brandon Cooks. What they should do, playmaker, if they missed out on Randy Gregory, I tried to warn y'all several hours before the trade went down, but y'all didn't want to listen to me. Then Julio Jones now is with the Philadelphia Eagles. What they should do, playmaker, is they should go try to get Sutton from the Denver Broncos, which I'm sure Denver would listen. They need a big red zone target. He's from that area. He went to SMU. Go on and go get that dude, man.
But that's going to cost you a
go get him, pick. Skip.
Okay.
Go get him.
I mean, they're going to want a first for him.
They know they're not going to get a first for him.
Well, he's the best receiver. I mean,
yeah, but everything is on the table in Denver right now.
Say.
So let's go cut a deal.
Yeah.
Hey, Key, I like that, Key. I'm not joking. I like it. I talked about we need a space eater. We need that area code receiver. And Cortland Sutton, he is absolutely that. Did it over there at SMU, would be back home and would be great. Now, as Skip said, that's going to cost something. That's going to cost something. But I'm okay with it costing something. You can give up a second-round draft pick or a third-round draft pick for him at a sale. At a sale. I don't know if I want to go to a first-round draft pick. Yeah. But right now, because you can tell right now, he won't just be a borrowed player. He could be somebody that they stick in and use and grow with CeeDee Lamb and continue to play with Dak Prescott.
He has 2 years left on his deal, Skip.
I like that pick.
He's 2 years left on his deal. He's from the area. And even if you had to give up a low one of some sort of condition, that's okay. You gave up a one for Amari Cooper, and it changed your life for a couple years.
2018 trade deadline. Yep, Amari Cooper. Yep.
Yeah, but Amari Cooper's a different receiver, man. That's, hey, listen. I'll give him a one for Amari.
I understand.
But Cortland hadn't put up those kinds of numbers, that's why I believe you can get him for a second. I believe you can get him for a second because he hasn't shown, he hasn't taken off yet. Amari Cooper had already taken off by the time we gave up that number one for him.
But do you believe do you believe in the ability as a front office executive and a coach? When I look at Cortland Sutton, does he give me what I'm missing? If he gives me what I'm missing, then the price is never too heavy because you're not going to get that out. Nobody else has that's available for you. There's no other team that's willing to talk conversation about trading their top dog away.
Yeah. I really like the Cortland Sutton. Key, listen, I'm willing to go a second or a third because, like you just said, they're doing a sale, a garage sale. Yeah, I'm not going to the garage sale and offering up top dollar. Of
course not.
I'll give you a dime for that guy over there. It's a garage sale over there in Denver. Give me some garage stuff.
I'm just trying to help you and Skip help your office, man. Whatever they take, you need to kick the tires on it, explore it, and see what you can get out of it.
Okay, Michael.
I do like it.
Yeah, Michael. The reason we're having this conversation, for the most part, is because Michael Gallup is not living up to the money that Jerry finally gave him. He's coming off the ACL. He was coming off it last year. I thought I saw some glimpses near the end of the year, glimpses at San Francisco. But he does not look like the same guy, even though Dak fed him the rock the other night because he had 10 targets and he caught 3 of them, which will not work, obviously. And a bunch of times the other night, he looked like he'd never played football. He looked awkward to me, like he didn't know how to catch it. A couple balls hit him in the face almost. So what's your gut feeling on Michael Gallup as we speak?
Skip, I've been where you are in a sense that, you know, I thought this year he would get back to that early Michael Gallup that we've come to know in Dallas. And remember now, there was a time we had teams offering a first-round draft choice for Michael Gallup. And it was like, no way. He was so up and coming. So, listen, he has certainly not gotten anywhere near back to what he has been in the past, because Michael Gallup was budding on becoming, say, a 1B. That kind of receiver. You expected him to take the next step as CD took that next step when Amari got moved out, and it just hasn't happened. And it has really crippled the Dallas Cowboys, because once you take CD Lamb out of the offense, then they're totally hurt. I know Brandon Cooks made some plays last weekend,
he did.
but you got to get Michael Gallup going, or you got to find someone and put him in that position that can make some plays and help out.
Why do you think all of a sudden that the Dallas Cowboys feel like they need to go and be buyers before the trade deadline? Are they feeling some pressure from somewhere? Are they feeling like the 49ers gotten better? They feel like the Eagles just got better? Do they have to combo that now and try to go get better? Is this why they're floating out there that they are buyers because of the trade, before the trade deadline?
Key, I think that makes a huge difference when your team knows that no matter what, everybody's all in this year. It's not like let's plan on next year, let's do. And that's what you see, guys, that's the locker room, that's the urgency in the locker room. When people see guys coming in late like this, you hear people start talking about getting those last few players that you think you need to get you over the hump as we go towards that trade deadline. Absolutely, that makes a difference. When you see teams that are in the top, like we talked about, contending with you, adding players to make sure that they secure the areas of their football team as they get ready to go down this stretch and get towards the Super Bowl. Absolutely, you got to get in that race. You need to understand, you need your locker room understanding. We are in this race to win right now, just like Philly, just like San Fran.
And yet, I don't, Keyshawn, think that Jerry is thinking about San Francisco or Philadelphia or Detroit. I think he's thinking about his Dallas Cowboys. I think he just hyped over what he saw on Monday night, and yet he discredited it. He almost disqualified it on Tuesday by saying the game was disjointed and sloppy. But he knows in his heart of hearts that Dallas, when it was time to make the plays in that game, made all the right plays. He knows that Dallas is 4-2 going into the bye, just a game back in the loss column of all those teams. So he's just saying, we got a shot.
So you don't think he's thinking about, you don't think he's thinking about Detroit, Philadelphia, and the 49ers that have gotten better, where the Cowboys are basically at throttle in neutral right now, just cruising along. And all of a sudden, the Eagles just went out and got a future Hall of Fame wide receiver. Randy Gregory is now with the 49ers. The 49ers aren't as banged up as we initially thought. Sounds like they all going to play in this next game. And the Philadelphia Eagles are getting ready to bounce back on a Sunday night against the Miami Dolphins. Yep. And you don't think for one minute that Jerry Jones, Will Clay, Stephen Jones, and Jerry Jr. sat in that room and said, we got to get better?
No, I don't.
Oh,
because
okay.
They got to see.
Here we go with the delusional.
Yeah, no. They got to see Julio Jones up close and personal in the opener and in the first playoff game. And I'm here to tell you, I think Jerry would scoff at what you're saying right now about.
So why all of a sudden are they so active then? Why all of a sudden are they going to be so active in looking at exploring the opportunity of bringing players in before the trade deadline if they're not worried about nobody in the NFC?
Okay, but again, he just thinks they got a chance to go win it all. That's what he's thinking right now. They're in position.
So if you got a chance to go win it all, Michael, why even go bother to get anybody?
You always stop, Key. Stop with that.
What you mean? Stop with what?
You are always looking to improve your team.
Okay.
On that, regardless, you're always looking to improve your team.
So,
now, what does that entail? You got to make sure that it's the right fit. You bring someone in, you got to make sure they're right. Philly didn't just pick out Julio Jones. There are other receivers out there that they could have gone and got. But they know that A.J. Brown is not going to be disrupted with this talent coming in.
So are you suggesting, along with Skip Bayless, that the Dallas Cowboys are fragile to a point where if you brought somebody in that it would hurt CeeDee Lamb and he would feel a certain way about well, that's just what Michael said. He said it by saying A.J. Brown is on board with it. So are you saying CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Brandon Cooks wouldn't have been on board with going to get Julio Jones?
Okay, but if I know Jerry Jones, go ahead, Mike.
You see what he did, though, Skip.
What did I do?
Don't let him do. Don't let him try that.
What did I try? What did I do, Skip?
Boy, ain't nobody say you. Now you're trying to make it about the sensitivity of the players. We're talking about. It's not just sensitivity of one or two players. It's about keeping the whole stability of the locker room and keeping moving.
So are you suggesting to me then? Are you suggesting to me, Michael, that the Philadelphia Eagles locker room is stronger than the Dallas Cowboys locker room as far as sensitivity goes? Is that what you're telling me now?
All I told you is what I told you. That, any locker room, every locker room, you got to make sure whatever stew you put in the pot stirs together well. That's all I'm saying.
We're only talking about two locker rooms here, though, boss. Right. We're only talking about two teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Skip, y'all suggested to me that A.J. Brown had an influence on signing Julio Jones because of the relationship and the sensitivity of...
Right.
That's what Michael used. He used that word. I didn't. So what that tells me is he senses issue in the Dallas Cowboy locker room if you bring in a Julio Jones.
Now it's going to be... Keith said that, wait, first we had Sherm, said CeeDee Lamb is not a number one. The man had to go 7 for 7 to get his love. Now we got Keith. Now the news going to say, Keyshawn said that CeeDee is too sensitive to bring in.
No, you said it. I didn't say it.
Stop
you
that
said it.
No, I told you every locker room is sensitive, and you have to make sure that whoever you bring in does not disrupt the locker room and that they and everybody can move forward So
again, Skip, he's saying that the Philadelphia Eagles locker room is stronger than the Cowboys because they're not sensitive.
Let me sum this up for you. I'm here to tell you, just as I told you, I was not afraid of Ezekiel Elliott going to Belichick, and I am not afraid of Julio Jones going to the Eagles. He is not going to be the catalyst that changes life in Philadelphia.
Okay, he may not be, but y'all better go get Cortland Sutton. That's what y'all better do.
Well, if you could just snap your fingers and get him for a 3, I think Jerry'd do that,
it was that easy.
In a minute. All right, up next, we got to change the subject because we got to talk Ja Morant. Ja responded to a Coach Prime tweet yesterday. Did Ja get the message? Debatable.
All I did was pull it.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.